What is up, window lickers? It's been an exciting week for video games, hasn't it? Well, don't bother getting excited about New Vegas 2. It's 15 years too late. Obsidian haven't made a decent game for years, and they're not going to suddenly start now. Even if they could, don't forget that this piece of crap TV show is canon now. How does that work when the events of the show and the events of the games cannot have happened in the same reality? Who knows? Emil doesn't care, and neither should you. It is sad to see Bethesda is losing Christiane Meister. You may have seen her in this inaccurate anti-woke meme. She's actually been the lead character artist since Morrowind. I do hope it was voluntary severance, although I'm sure she did get a huge payout. Anyway, enough of your nonsense, it's tier list time. Last week we did the weapon artifacts, today we're ranking Morrowind's clothing artifacts. Nobody has made a list on Tier Maker for this, which means I get to make the rules, so before the comments fill up with a bunch of loser nerds telling me that I'm objectively wrong because their favourite artifact didn't make S tier, we do have a very strict criteria. I'm judging these from the perspective of a no or low custom enchant playthrough. If you allow unrestricted custom enchantments, then almost everything in this video is immediately outclassed because custom enchantments are completely ridiculous. This is a restriction I place upon myself almost every playthrough. So what actually counts as an artifact? Obviously, we're covering everything that the UESP lists as an artifact, but there are also a handful of Aedric and Daedric artifacts that don't have unique models and instead masquerade as ordinary clothing. Some of them are among the strongest items in the game, so leaving them out would be stupid. And you're here, so we've already hit our quota of stupid. I'm not going to rank every named amulet in Morrowind either, because most of them are complete junk, so here's the compromise. We cover every UESP artifact, all 6 pieces of Aedric and Daedric clothing, my completely arbitrary top 5 unique clothing items, and 1 extra item that technically isn't an artifact, but is still the undisputed best in slot. For the clothing, I am only counting items that are actually gifts from a divine or one of their avatars. Just being named after a god isn't enough to make it an Aedric artifact, so Akatosh's ring doesn't count. Mara's Blouse does, because it's literally given to you by an avatar of Mara. And finally, this is just for the base game, Tribunal and Blood Moon add a few more artifacts, but this video is already very long, and I wanted to get it finished before I went on holiday. So where am I going? Moonshadow? Solstheim? Your mum's house? Mind your own business. If you do enjoy these tier lists, we'll come back and rank the expansion artifacts another time. Now as for the tiers, S tier is for items that completely break the game or the game rules. These items completely trivialize the game, and you should probably ban yourself from picking these up if you want the game to continue to be fun. A tier is for artifacts that let you punch above your weight, so items that let you in fights, complete quests, and survive situations your character realistically should not. B tier is for consistently strong items, things I'm always happy to pick up and regularly find myself using. C tier is for consistently decent items or strong in a niche case, items that you may occasionally use. D tier is for items that technically have a purpose, or niche items that just aren't very strong, the sort of thing I'd probably forget I even owned. And E tier is the bin. If it isn't worth the carry weight, then it belongs here. So, this is going to take long enough, let's just crack on with it. Our first item is the Madstone of the Ahemmusa. So, this is a worthless piece of ashland garbage that you are given to prove that the Ahemmusa tribe have declared you Nerevarine. It's an amulet. Imagine spending your whole life surviving in the ash wastes, only to present this as a priceless tribal treasure. It has a cast on used enchantment of 50 points of sound for 20 seconds on touch. I bet you don't even know what sound does, do you? Well, even though you are a stupid dumb dummy, I'll let you off this time. Nobody actually ever uses this effect, so let's see what sound actually does. Sound creates a distracting noise in the mind of a target, decreasing their chance of successfully casting spells by the point value. So it's a crappy silence. I don't think anybody realistically uses silence either. It does have one advantage over silence, as it cannot be resisted, but it is also not as magicka efficient. Yeah, it's no wonder this spell didn't survive the Oblivion skill crunch. So back to the Madstone. So, sound, 50 points. It's half silence, and it only has 5 charges. Nothing we will cover today actively harms you like last time, so the bottom tier is for crap like this. This is E tier. This is a waste of carry weight. Okay, next we have the Thong of Zainab.
What's up?
What's this?
Well, I'm going to be a killjoy and point out that it's not that kind of thong. The thong originally just meant a strip of leather or cloth. In this case, it's referring to the cord that the amulet hangs from. This item is given to you in the main quest to prove you are the Zainab Nerevarine. It's cast when used, detect animal, 150 points for 5 seconds on self. It's quite a long distance for detect animal, but I can't say that's an effect I've ever felt I needed. Maybe if every Kwama in Vvardenfell simultaneously went missing. This is pure Ashland trash. This is E tier, waste of carry weight. So, next we have the Amulet of Shadows. This is probably the most broken item in the game. I've already made a whole guide on how to get it at level 1, so if you want to completely ruin your playthrough, I'll put that in the description. So, cast when used, Chameleon, 80 points for 60 seconds on self. If you don't know what Chameleon does, it reduces your chance to be detected. At high values like this, reduces is a bit of an understatement. High amounts of Chameleon make you effectively invisible, but unlike the actual invisibility spell effect, which immediately ends as soon as you interact with anything, Chameleon persists through actions. So, with high levels of Chameleon, such as 80%, you can beat people to death while they cannot even participate in the fight. This trivializes a game that is already too easy. You don't have to think, you don't have to plan, you don't even have to be competent. I mean, it's great for a moron like you. I tend to ban myself from ever picking this item up. I probably should have put this later in the video, as everything else is going to pale in comparison now. This is an easy S tier, this needs removing from the game. Okay, so next is the Amulet of Heartfire. So, you get this amulet right at the end of the main quest, from Dagoth Odros in Odrasal. It has a bunch of cast on use effects, all of them for 30 seconds, and all of them on self. Fortify Agility, 10 to 20 points. Fortify Unarmored, 10 to 20 points. Chameleon, 20 points. Fortify Speed, 10 to 20 points. And Fortify Fatigue, 20 to 40 points. I don't tend to like these bag of mixed stat on cast items, but this one is actually coherent. This is a real good monk item. Monks want speed, unarmored skill, agility and fatigue. The Chameleon is whatever, although you could pair it with the Amulet of Shadows to reach 100% Chameleon. But if you're raiding Red Mountain for 20% Chameleon, you've probably made some questionable life choices. Of course, agility and speed are both great combat stats for any class. The main issue with this is how late in the game that you get it. You get this right at the end of the main quest, and these are fairly minor buffs for an established character. Although if you do go out of your way to get this early, this could be useful. I give this a C tier. Next is the Amulet of Heartheal. It's another one of these 6 house amulets that all have similar names. It's another monk item. I'm not sure why they didn't spread these items out over different slots. You get it from Dagoth Vemin in the Citadel of Veminal. Are the Dagoths all monks? I can't say I've noticed, although now that I think about it, they do like to be topless. So, it's an on-cast item, all on self, and all for 30 seconds. Fortify Strength, 10 to 20 points. Fortify Hand-to-Hand, 10 to 20 points. Shield, 10 to 20 points. That just adds its magnitude to your armor rating. And Levitate, 20 points. The Levitate effect is good by itself. It's advisable to carry at least one enchanted item with a Levitate effect, and it could be this one. I've been playing a lot of TES-free MP recently, and one thing that's really stood out is just how useful having Levitate on an enchanted item is. Since time doesn't pass while travelling, recharging enchanted items is much slower, so we often end up sending just one person up to fight alone. There's obviously a multiplayer specific situation, but it reminded me how often I actually use Levitate. If you are playing on OpenMW and you have the strength of X hand-to-hand damage enabled, which you probably should if you're doing a hand-to-hand playthrough, then this is even better. Fortify Strength is always strong. It increases your melee damage significantly and lets you carry more stuff. This is also really good for cheesing enemies in rooms with high ceilings. This is how we kill Marara in the OP level 1 guide. So this does have a clear purpose. It solves a common utility problem and it is a respectable combat buff. That's a B from me. Next is the Amulet of Heartrime. It's another 6-house amulet, this one from Dagoth Endis in Endisal. Cast when used, all for 30 seconds. Fortify Magicka, 30 to 60 points. Sanctuary, 10 to 20 points. Fortify Conjuration, 20 points. It has 5 charges. This is alright, I suppose. The extra Magicka can let you cast the spell that would otherwise be just out of reach, or it could act as a discount on your next spell. The Fortify Conjuration can maybe help you squeeze out a Golden Saint. I'm specifically thinking about Golden Saints because you can soul trap them for constant effect enchantments, and they're one of the harder summons for a low-level character to cast. The Sanctuary is a nice little bonus to your dodge chance, but it's not really why you would use this item. This item does have its niche, but it is a narrow one, much like your prospects in life. Once your character is established, you won't be reaching for this very often. It's too niche for C tier. This is a D tier. It has some value, but then so does dirt. Next is the Amulet of Heartthrum. I think this is the last of the 6-house amulets that we're covering. Cast when used, all for 30 seconds on self. Fortify Magicka, 40 points. Spell Absorption, 10 to 20 points. And Lightning Shield, 20 points. So, elemental shields are basically elemental resist combined with the shield spell. So, 20 points of lightning shield is 20% resistance to shock, as well as 20 points added to your armor rating. So, when cost isn't a factor, elemental shields are always better. Spell absorption is a rare and extremely powerful stat, but the problem is, if you're looking for spell absorption, you're probably going to wear the Necromancer's amulet instead. And we'll be talking about that next. You could use both, but since the Necromancer's amulet is a constant effect, you'd have to actually remember to swap it back on after using this. That might be difficult with a brain like yours. So this one at least has a clear purpose. Spell absorption is a fantastic effect. It's a shame it's attached to an amulet that's competing with the best spell absorption item in the game. S is another 6-house D tier. Next we have the Necromancer's amulet. I think this is in every Elder Scrolls game. Although, to be fair, I've never played Arena, so don't quote me on that. If you're banning yourself from abusing Chameleon, then this is your best in-slot amulet. This is the reward for becoming the Archmage of the Mages Guild. Or you can just taunt bribe the Archmage in Vivek until he attacks you, and then you can just kill him and take it right at the start of the game. It has the following constant effects, all on self. Resist normal weapons, 25 points. Fortify Intelligence, 25 points. Restore Health, 1 point, and Spell Absorption, 25 points. So, resist normal weapons is a rare and very powerful skill. It is reduced damage against all chitin, bone mold, iron, and steel weapons, which is what most NPCs use. It protects against adamantium too. If it doesn't protect you against adamantium, it's because of your mods. Many bug fix projects change this. I play and record these guides on max difficulty, which makes enemies deal 6 times more damage, so iron and steel weapons are no joke. You can easily get one shot by archer skeletons for most of the playthrough. It doesn't protect you from glass, ebony, or daedric, but you aren't often fighting enemies equipped with those. So intelligence affects your max magicka, and this continues past level 100. Restore 1 HP constantly is good. Spell absorption is a rare and powerful effect. I mean, if you took the Atronach perk and you wear this, you'll have 75% absorption. This is an A tier. It's very strong, but it's not game-breaking. Next, we have the Teeth of the Urshilaku. This is the amulet you get to prove that you're the Urshilaku Nerevarine. It's honestly kind of sad what passes for a treasure among the Ashlanders. Constant effect, resist paralysis, 10 points on self. This effect is better than nothing, the lowest of all bars. The amulet slot is just too competitive. If this were a pauldron or even a belt, I could maybe see myself using it. As an amulet though, it's worthless. Also, it's 2/3 of the way through the main quest. You definitely have a better amulet by that point. This is E tier. This is complete Ashland trash. Speaking of Ashland trash, we have the Amulet of Usheeja. Wait, is this Ashland trash? I don't even know what this is. Oh. Cast when used, frost damage, 1 to 25 points on touch. It's a low damage offensive spell, it's not even ranged. Yeah, this is worthless too. I genuinely can't think of a situation where I'd carry this around instead of literally any utility amulet. It's also kind of hilarious that this thing gets its own unique model, while one of the strongest items in the entire game looks like a generic amulet you found in a barrel. This is E tier. Alright, next is the Belt of Heartfire. The UESP calls this a powerful 6-house artifact, which is funny. Although I guess most of their artifacts are terrible, so maybe that is actually accurate. You snatch this off Dagoth Uthal in Kogarun, roughly halfway through the main quest, although why you would bother is beyond me. Cast when used, all for 30 seconds on self. So we have Fortify Health, 10 to 20 points. Resist Poison, 10 to 20 points. Fire Shield, 10 points. And Fortify Fatigue for 20 points. This tries to do a little bit of everything, and ends up doing not enough of anything. I don't really like Fortify Health. It's not free health, it just lends it to you for 30 seconds. When the effect wears off, then that health disappears again. If you've taken enough damage that you're relying on those extra hit points to stay alive, you die the moment the enchantment expires. So what's the point? Who knows? The Poison Resist and the Fire Shield are too weak to matter. Fortify Fatigue may as well not be there. So in a low enchantment run, I usually allow myself a constant effect 1 point slow fall belt. I use the belt slot partly because the enchantment fits nicely, and partly because the competition is so trash that I have no reason to take it off. You really don't want to forget you've taken that belt off. So that's obviously all personal preference, but it does affect how I value belt items in practice. In order to take off my slow fall belt and risk falling to my death, an item has to offer something genuinely worthwhile, and this doesn't even come close. But even in a no custom enchant playthrough, this item is pretty pointless. If you drop this on the floor in front of me, I genuinely don't think I'd pick it up. So that's an E from me. Alright, next we have the Seizing of stupid name. This is the item you get to identify yourself as Nerevarine, of this tribe I can't even pronounce. I'm not even gonna try. It is a belt, so I have the same personal bias against it. Cast when used, Telekinesis, 50 points for 30 seconds on self. I like Telekinesis. It lets you trigger trapped containers and doors from a safe distance, grab items that would otherwise be awkward to reach, and it's one of the better artifacts in the game for stealing, as long as there is something to block the line of sight. As I mentioned before, the belt slot is pretty tragic, but this is a solid utility item. I can see this being my main belt when avoiding custom enchantments. It's probably best in slot, but only because the slot is terrible. So, that's a B from me. Alright, next we have Aryon's Helper. This is one of 2 incredible gloves given to you by Master Aryon in the House Telvanni questline. One thing I have to talk about first is that every glove comes with the same minor annoyance, and that is that they share the same slot as gauntlets. That means armored gloves. Idiot. To cast it, you have to equip it, which then means re-equipping your gauntlets. It's especially annoying for right-hand gloves, because that slot gets some incredible items throughout the game. Early on, you've got the Fists of Rendergulf, and later Wraithguard. If you're using Sunder or Keening and accidentally unequip Wraithguard, well, that's gonna hurt. This is a right-handed glove, but fortunately it's so ridiculously good that I'm more than willing to put up with that inconvenience. So, cast when used, summon Flame Atronach for 2 minutes on self, summon Frost Atronach for 1.5 minutes on self, and summon Storm Atronach for 60 seconds on self. This thing is absolutely nuts. Summoning 3 Atronachs at once is incredibly powerful. Honestly, summoning any 2 of them would have made this a fantastic item. Summons are also incredible on high difficulty, because difficulty only reduces your damage, your summons still hit just as hard. The only downside to this is that Storm Atronachs cast AoE shock spells, so you have to vacate the immediate area after you drop this. They'll also happily stand in front of every doorway after the fight, but that's what the wait button is for. So this is one of the strongest combat utility items in the game. This is an easy A tier. I love this. Alright, next is the other glove given to you by Master Aryon. Aryon's Dominator. I love this item too. Cast when used, command creature 15 points for 2 minutes on target, and command humanoid for 15 points for 2 minutes on touch. It's kind of weird that one is on target and one is on touch. 15 points doesn't sound like a lot, but it is enough for what I use it for, which is moving town NPCs around. So, command humanoid makes the NPC follow you, even through doors and while using travel options. You can take one of the boat captains home, and now you can get the boat from your bedroom. You can bring the shops to you. They'll also fight for you. A really interesting use case for the command spells was featured in a JBN video where he forbade himself from using Sunder and Keening. So he moved the heart to the Mages Guild and then sold Sunder and Keening to merchants and had them hit the heart. If you haven't seen that video, I would highly recommend you watch it. After you finish this video, obviously, if you click off now, I will have a prophecy about you, and you know where that leads. What were we talking about? Oh yes, Aryon's Dominator. So this thing enables some absolutely ridiculous nonsense, and I love it for that. You can also just use it to make people fight for you. It's a strong utility item that I will carry for the rest of the game. This is an A tier. Alright, next up is Zenithar's Wiles. This is one of 2 gloves given to you by John Hawker, an avatar for Zenithar, making this the first Aedric artifact on the list. It's part of the Imperial Cult questline, although you can just go there. This NPC is right next to Galmistren, the guy with the Ring of the Wind. If you've seen my level 1 artifact guides, you'll know exactly where this is. This is okay actually. It is nice and simple. Cast when used, charm 1 to 50 points for 5 seconds on stealth. Charm adds its magnitude to a character's disposition, so you can just cast this on an NPC before you talk to them for a boost. Again, this only has 5 casts. I'd say that's more of an issue with this, as you are likely to cast it multiple times just to roll a magnitude that's actually worth something. It is a right-handed glove, which means constantly swapping it on and off whenever you want to use it. Aryon's Helper was powerful enough that I was happy to put up with that inconvenience. This is not. This is a C. Alright, Zenithar's Warning. This is the other glove given to you by Zenithar. This is another enchantment that's trying to do too many things, so cast on use. Demoralize Humanoid, 20 to 80 points for 10 seconds on touch, and Demoralize Creature for 20 to 80 points for 10 seconds on touch. Fine, that makes sense. But then it keeps going. Silence for 10 seconds on touch. Blind, 5 to 25 points for 10 seconds on touch. So just why? So, Demoralize increases the target's flee value. It's basically Morrowind's version of Thea. If you roll a 20, most enemies will shrug it off, but if you roll closer to the 80, they'll panic and leg it. But if the enemy is running away, then the blind and the silence just does nothing. This would just be a better item if it committed to one idea. Trying to do both just makes it mediocre at both. It only has 5 casts, but honestly, that's not the biggest problem. This isn't the sort of item you want to use every fight anyway, outside of some kind of pacifist run. And if you're doing that, then you've probably made yourself a better Demoralize spell by now. It's definitely got a niche, but outside of that one type of playthrough, I doubt I would remember I'm carrying this. Also, your face is demoralizing enough, and that's a D from me. Okay, next we have another Aedric artifact. This one is given to you by Amanin, who is an avatar of Mara. She gives you 2 pieces of clothing for 1 Divine Intervention scroll. It's quite the bargain, but not because of this item. Amanin is part of the Imperial Cult quest to recover the boots of the Apostle, but she is always there, so you don't need to be on the quest to get this. So, it has a constant effect of Fortify Health 5 points. Yeah. So I've said before that I don't like Fortify Health, but as a constant effect, it's fine, I guess. So, we need to talk about the slot that this takes up. This is the only skirt artifact, which shares the trouser slot. The options for the trouser slot are actually pretty bleak. And if you're doing a no custom enchant playthrough, then Mara's skirt is one of your only 2 options for constant effects. They both kind of suck. I wouldn't really bother with either of them. My preferred choice for that slot is an on-cast item, and it will come up shortly. This is terrible. 5 points of health is only going to make a difference at very low levels. But at the same time, it is one of the better items for this slot. So, this is one of the few items I genuinely can't decide on. It's either D tier or it's E tier. Fine. Nocturnal has been pestering me for a collab, so let's throw her a bone, I guess.
Nocturnal! Guide my hand!
Piss off, Carlia. Alright, Nocturnal. This is what we're gonna do. Heads is D tier. Tails is E tier. Alright, tails it is. Nocturnal has spoken. Mara's skirt is trash. Next we have Mara's blouse. So, Mara's blouse is the better of the two items given to us by Mara. Constant effect, resist magicka, 10 points on self. It's a small amount, but magic resistance is one of the most valuable defensive stats in the game. And while I don't rate small amounts of MR on cast, I do rate them as a constant effect. It's something you naturally want to stack in the mid and late game, and this is a straightforward early boost to that goal. I do find myself using this in no custom enchant playthroughs, which is how we're judging these. So not much else to say. It's not flashy, but it's consistently useful, and it is in a bad slot. This is a B from me. Next is the travel-stained pants. So the travel-stained pants are actually my choice of trousers in a non-custom enchant playthrough. Cast when used, levitate 10 points for 30 seconds on self. Levitate is actually hard to cast with a low mysticism skill, and it's expensive to cast. I almost exclusively rely on enchantments, scrolls, and potions for this effect. But mysticism is actually one of the best scrolls in the game, so why don't I take it? So, the reason I tend not to take mysticism is that all of the good effects are very easy to get in scroll or enchanted item form. Aril and Galbadir sell restocking LMCV and Divine Intervention scrolls. You can buy an Amulet of Recall from Veric Germain. If you've seen my guides, you know I visit that shop at the start of every playthrough. You can get LMCV and Divine Intervention amulets very early on in the Mages Guild, and almost every alchemist will sell Rising Force potions. Also, there are numerous enchanted items throughout the world that come with Levitate. So, back to the travel-stained pants. 10 points of Levitate is a low amount, that is quite slow, but it's fine for just accessing high ledges. If you want to use Levitate for general travel, then this won't cut it. But that's not something I tend to do, I prefer jump. This has one advantage over the Boots of the Apostle, and that's that you don't have to take the Boots of Blinding Speed off to cast this. So, this technically is my choice of trouser, but this is more about how bad the competition is, rather than how powerful this is. This is B tier, but it's bottom of the pile. Next is the hair shirt of St. Aralor. A hair shirt is exactly what it sounds like, an uncomfortable religious garment used for self-punishment and penance. So of course, it damages you when you use it. It is a quest hand-in for the Tribunal Temple, but you do get it back later in the quest line. Or if you just want to go and get it, it's just on a dead body lying on the floor outside of Kogaroon. So it's cast when used, damage health 2 to 6 points on self for 1 second. But in return for that, you get resist magicka 10 points for 30 seconds on self, resist shock 10 to 20 points for 30 seconds on self. I mean, we've established that I don't care about small amounts of on-cast resistance, but we also get restore health 2 points for 30 seconds on self. So you're trading up to 6 health for 60 points of healing over 30 seconds, plus some magicka and shock resistance on top. It does only have 5 charges, which seems to be a recurring theme, but this is quite a strong heal. If you don't have restoration, maybe this is your best option. I do think I've been underestimating this. This is actually solid. This is a B tier. Next up is the Shoes of St. Rilms. Shoes is a pretty bleak slot, but you can't wear shoes under boots anyway, so it's only really an issue if you're doing an unarmored build, and that's providing you aren't playing a farm tool, because of course they can't wear shoes either. So, the Shoes of St. Realms have a constant effect. Fortify Personality, 5 points on self. Fortify Endurance, 5 points on self. I'm not even sure what the intended synergy is here. Perhaps it's a lore thing. Personality is not a stat I really care about. In fact, I usually use a mod that raises the threshold on personality and disposition so that people like you even less. And anytime you need personality, it could just be solved with gold and bug mask. I don't really care about temporary endurance either. I only care about how endurance affects my HP at level up, which this doesn't affect. 5 points of each is pitiful, especially at the cost of the boot slap. If I'm playing an unarmored monk, I'm probably an Imperial, so do I really need the personality? There is actually a pair of shoes that didn't make this list called Sure Feet, which give a constant effect of Fortify Acrobatics 3 points on self, and Fortify Acrobatics again for 3 points on self, so that's actually 6 points. If I was playing an unarmored character, I would probably use those. But neither effect is that good, so just take your pick, I guess. As for the Shoes of St. Realms, it's 2 tiny bonuses across 2 low impact stats, and it stops you wearing boots. The fact that it is a constant effect is the only thing keeping it out of E tier, so that's a D from me. Alright, now we're on to rings until the end of the video. There are like 15 of these things. It is important to note that your character can wear 2 rings at a time, which is nice because a lot of the rings in this list are incredibly strong. So, first of the rings is the Blood Ring. It's another 6 house artifact. This one is from Dagoth Gilboth in the Citadel of Dagoth. So this looks like just another mixed bag of buffs, but there is some synergy here. So, cast when used, all for 30 seconds on self. Fortify health, 10 to 20 points. Fire shield, 10 to 20 points. Resist fire, 10 to 20 points. Resist magicka, 10 to 20 points. And dispel, 10 to 20 points. So remember, fire shield also adds fire resistance as well as armor rating, so in practice this is really giving you 20 to 40 points of fire resistance. The 10 to 20 points of resist magicka is fine. It doesn't actually reduce elemental damage, so it won't make you any more resistant to fire. But resist magicka is a stat you generally want to stack in the late game, so every little helps. The dispel effect is awkward. It won't affect this enchantment, but it may strip off other buffs you're relying on. I can actually see myself remembering to cast this if fighting a known fire user for Vec comes to mind. Unlike the other 6 house artifacts, this one at least pushes in a consistent defensive direction. The dispel is unfortunate, but overall, it is a coherent survivability package. This is probably the best 6 house artifact so far, but that's not exactly high praise. This is C tier. Next up is Denstagmer's ring. This is found in Falas' ancestral tomb in an urn labelled T. Bryant. It was included as a tribute to a forum poster who passed away before the game was finished. Imagine how many rings they'd have to add if they kept doing that for the Elder Scrolls 6. It has a constant effect. We like those. Resist fire, 30 points. Resist frost, 30 points. And resist shock, 30 points. So that's a permanent 30% resistance to every elemental damage type except poison. Poison counts as an element in Morrowind. There's not really much else to say. It's a simple ring that does one job well, and because it's a constant effect, you never have to think about it. So it's probably not A tier because there are simply stronger rings competing for this slot. But until you get one of those, I'd be perfectly happy wearing this. This is a B from me. Alright, next we have... Wait, what is this? Heart Ring? I've literally never seen this. I've played this game for thousands of hours and I've genuinely never heard of this thing. So, according to the UESP, it's hidden in the facility cavern near Dagoth. I swear there's nothing in that room. Alright, let's go find out. Okay, so we're in the facility cabin in Dagoth. This is your 3-second warning for spoilers. There's Dagoth. Hi, buddy.
Welcome, Moon and Star, to this place where destiny is made.
Alright, so the UESP says there's treasure in 2 locations in this room. Here and here. I don't see anything here. I guess it's a ring, so it could be hard to see. There isn't anything here. Fine, let's try by the door. I don't see anything here either. Could be behind the door. We got the heart ring, buddy. Just ash statues. You have to kill Dagoth there. Sorry about this, dude. So you drop the ring. Well. Oh, the door's open. Is our ring in here? No. The game is so dark for me. I do color correct this and post for you guys, but I can't see anything. Bye. Is it up there? Oh! Oh my god, there it is. It's the heart ring. What a stupid place to leave such a tiny artifact. No wonder I haven't seen it. Who knows what the treasure over there is supposed to be, but at least we found the heart ring. Well, bugger me, it actually does exist. I guess even a god doesn't know everything. So, this is hands down the best 6-house artifact. Cast when used, all for 30 seconds on self. Dispel, 20 to 50 points. Lightning Shield, 10 to 20 points. Resist Frost, 30 to 50 points. Resist Fire, 30 to 50 points. Resist Magicka, 30 to 50 points. Resist Shock, 30 to 50 points. And resist Paralysis, 30 to 50 points. This is the blood ring after a flat line of moon sugar. Lightning Shield already includes shock resistance, so really you're getting 40 to 70% shock resistance, alongside 30 to 50% fire, frost, magicka, and paralysis resistance. Unlike most of the 6-house artifacts, this one has a clear purpose. When you know you're about to fight spellcasters, this is an excellent defensive buff. You have to remember to cast it, and it only lasts 30 seconds, so it is competing with rings that are giving you incredible constant effects. As it is, I think this is a high B tier. Next is the Ring of Khajiit. Whose artifact even is this? In Daggerfall, it's a reward from Meridia. In Morrowind, it's tied to my father's quest. In Oblivion, it swings back to Meridia. And in Skyrim, it just belongs to both, and don't ask why. Anyway, cast when used, invisibility, for 30 seconds on self, fortify speed, 10 to 20 points, for 30 seconds on self. So this is a coward's tool for running away, so it suits you pretty well. My usual tool for dropping aggro though is the Ring of Aversion, which you've probably seen in my guides. But compared to that, the Ring of Khajiit is a straight upgrade, 20 seconds of extra invisibility and the fortify speed buff. Usually if I am casting something to drop aggro, it's because I'm travelling across the map, so the speed boost is nice for that. This is a solid B tier. I would carry and use this for the rest of the game. Next up is Marara's Ring. This thing is nuts. You can get this from killing Marara, a high-level vampire, in Trefan Ancestral Tomb. I have covered this ring in an OP level 1 start guide. Constant effect, reflect 20 points on self. Fortify acrobatics 10 points on self. and resist normal weapons 40 points on self. Reflect is one of the best defensive effects in the game. It's a percentage chance to reflect spells cast on you, including hits from enchanted weapons. It's also an effect used by many high-level enemies, so you've probably died to it before. Fortify Acrobatics is nice. Resist normal weapons 40 points is crazy. This is the kind of ring that makes me put all utility rings away, because I don't want to accidentally unequip this. If you combine this with the Necromancer's Amulet, you get around 65% resistance to normal weapons. And actually, if you become a vampire, you get 50% as well, so Vampire plus Marara's Ring plus Necromancer's Amulet would be 115% resistance to normal weapons. Presumably that makes you invincible to normal weapons. I'm actually quite interested in testing that out, but that's for another video. So this is A tier. It's nearly game breaking, almost borderline, but you do need a decent health pool or armor rating before it shines. Next is the Mentor's Ring. Everybody knows the Mentor's Ring. You can get this from the closest ancestral tomb to Seyda-Neen. Constant effect, plus 10 intelligence and plus 10 willpower on self. Imagine if you had plus 10 intelligence, you could graduate from licking windows to reading your own name. It's great in the early game for that little boost to your spell's success chance. You might also want to keep it late game if you're just trying to max your mana pool. Intelligence also helps with enchanting, so it's useful for squeezing out those early enchantments as well. I end up using this almost every playthrough, but only at the start. It makes being a mage a little bit easier in the early game, but it does quickly get outclassed. This is a C from me. The next ring is one clan under Moon and Star. This is one of my artifacts, obvious S, or at least it would have been in the first era. It was a gift from me to Nerevar. I only gave it a temporary enchantment, as mortals don't really live that long. Nowadays, the enchantment is basically all gone. All that remains is constant effect, fortify personality 5 points, fortify speechcraft 5 points. So this is terrible now. I already gave this away once, and I want my 0.1 carry weight back. Get in the bin. Next we have the Ring of Phynaster. Constant effect, resist poison 20 points on self, resist shock 20 points on self, and resist magicka 20 points on self. It's another mixed resistance item, this time it's a ring, and this slot is just way too valuable for numbers this low. I guess you could slap this on after casting the Heart Ring to be even more resistant to shock and magicka, if you can be bothered. It is a constant effect there, and we do like those. I can see myself wearing this early game until I find better options. I don't have much to say about it other than that. This is a C. Next we have my ring. Constant effect, Night Eye, 20 points on self, and Restore Fatigue, 3 points on self. Restore Fatigue 3 points per second is great, you're never gonna run out of stamina with this. If you have max endurance and willpower, you get 4.5, so this will bump it up to 7.5 points per second, and you can jump around like the ape you are and never get tired. Night Eye you're probably wondering about. It's not something you should ever really need, however, I actually do rate Night Eye. For some reason, my OpenMW install on Linux is just really dark in interiors, and the minimum interior brightness slider does nothing. I have to color correct it in OBS for the YouTube videos, but that doesn't help me see where I'm going. I have had other people mention the same issue, so maybe this applies to you. For that reason, I find myself actually wearing this constantly after the main quest. Technically a niche case? So, to me, this is a B, but if your brightness slider works, then you probably rate this lower. So next is Shashev's ring. Shashev is a mage in Old Scarin, in Aldrune. If you do kill him, you can have this ring and also his key. His key is also one of the items you need to evolve Goldbrand into Eltonbrand. We briefly talked about that last video. So what does the ring do? Cast when used, paralyze for 15 seconds on target, and poison 5 to 10 points for 15 seconds. This is really good actually. I highly rate on target paralyzed spells. It just stops the enemy dead so you can safely beat them down. It also does 75 to 150 points of damage to the enemy while they're paralyzed. This is really good crowd control. 5 charges is enough. Any more and I'd probably start self-restricting it out of my runs. So it sounds like this might meet the criteria for A tier, but actually it can only sometimes help you punch above your weight. There are a ton of enemies in the game that are resistant to paralyze, including undead, Tuima automatons, and Daedra. The Vampiric Ring works on everything, but this just mostly works on humans and animals. This is a B from me. Alright, next is the Soul Ring. Wait, haven't I done this one? I guess not, but it's just another item that does a bunch of nothing. So, cast when used, all on self, and all for 30 seconds. So we have Dispel, 10 to 20 points. Fortify Magicka, 10 to 20 points. Fortify Health, 10 to 20 points. Resist Shock, 10 to 20 points. And Resist Paralysis, 10 to 20 points. I don't rate small amounts of Fortify Magicka. I don't rate Fortify Health. The Shock and Paralysis resistances are tiny. Like, compare this to the other rings. This could be a constant effect and I still wouldn't use it. So I'm torn between D and E tier, purely because it's just 0.2 carry weight. You can use it to cancel Levitate early, providing the Dispel actually hits. Is that worth the carry weight and the inventory clutter? Yeah, I'd say no. Just make a more efficient Levitate spell, and then you don't have to wait, so this can go in the trash pile. Alright, next is the Ring of Surroundings. We used this to get 100% Chameleon in my Abusing Chameleon video. Cast when used, Chameleon, 20 to 30 points, for 30 seconds on self. Chameleon is OP, but not in small amounts like this. 20 to 30% is decent. It can be the difference between you getting caught opening a locked door and getting away with it. It's definitely a nice bonus whenever you're trying to sneak. This is basically a worse Amulet of Shadows though, which we covered earlier. Combining the two would give you 100% Chameleon, which is completely broken. The 80% from the Amulet of Shadows though is usually enough on its own, but the Ring of Surroundings guarantees that nobody knows who's punching them in the face. If you abuse that, the game does become trivial. I do carry this item for the entire game whether I've banned Amulet of Shadows or not. So the Amulet of Shadows is enough by itself to trivialize the game, that's why it's in S tier. The Ring of Surroundings is not, but it is still very strong. This is a strong B. Alright, next up is the Vampiric Ring. Actually, we're going to save that till last. So I guess next is the Warlock's Ring. You get this from the Mage's Guild quest, given to you by the rug in the basement, but only after you fetch the Staff of Magnus. It's cast when used, on self for 30 seconds, Reflect 10 to 20 points, and Fortify Speed 10 to 20 points. This is kind of mid. Reflect is nice, Speed is nice, but it's so late in the Mage's Guild questline that you've probably already outgrown what this is trying to offer. So it isn't offensive, it isn't terrible, it's just forgettable. This is D tier. Alright, next is the Ring of the Wind. This is nice. It's another artifact I featured in my guides. So, constant effect, agility, 30 points on self. Agility affects your chance to hit and your chance to dodge. That's obviously a premium stat. This ring makes you noticeably harder to hit, so it's a very strong survivability boost. The only downside of boosting your agility is you end up getting hit less often, which means you don't naturally level your armor skills as fast. So sometimes I do take this off for that reason. But I can't really hold that against this item, it's more of a quirk of how leveling works. So the Ring of the Wind is simple and strong. I'd probably say that this, comboed with Marara's ring, is the best in slot. So that's A tier. And finally we have the Vampiric Ring. I love the Vampiric Ring. This is the best on-cast damage effect on the list by far. It was one of the 2 artifacts covered in my first ever YouTube video. If you want to see how to get this at level 1, go check that out. It is quite dangerous, as the skeleton that carries this ring will cast it on you, and that is instant death. Cast when used, Absorb Fatigue, 20 to 30 points for 10 seconds on touch, and Absorb Health, 20 to 30 points for 10 seconds on touch. That's effectively 200 to 300 points of damage and a fatigue swing. This is enough to one-shot most characters and creatures in the game. Even on the low ends, it will take out an Ordinator on max difficulty. Absorb Health is probably the best damage type. If it does get reflected, it still doesn't kill you, because you're effectively absorbing your own health back. Alright, so this is a great panic button. It lets you take fights that you shouldn't realistically survive at your level. It's massive burst damage, a huge sustained swing, and it can one-shot many enemies. It lets you recover mid-fight instead of retreating. This is the easiest day. So that's it. The only correct Morrowind clothing tier list. Like the video if it makes you feel validated. Leave your tragic mortal opinions in the comments. Actually, here's a fun challenge. I just noticed I left out one item that is a Daedric artifact, is clothing, and is from the base game, so it's not the Ring of Hersine. Let me know if you figure out what it is. It's not that good anyway, but for now, I'm kind of tired, and you're no sight for sore eyes, so get out of here. Why are you still here?